All right. Sorry about that, guys. Hello, guys. I am Jay Takashi. Well, like I said, all in all, like I said, welcome to Joseph King of Dreams discussion. We're going to be discussing the animated film that was made in 2000, with the memorable, like I said, with the memorable, also known Bible Joseph, the prophet, the son of Jacob and Rachel, who has many other brothers. But before we get to that, guys, we're gonna get into the intro, and you know how we do over here. So like I said, I'm gonna count from five to one in Japanese. Eva Goda, I'm gonna put the link in the stream once the intro is over, brother. Okay, I'm gonna let you in. All right, guys. Here we go. And go, yon, san, ni, ich, zero. Let's go.
El Relo on him.
Konnichiwa, minasan. Genki desu. Watashi wa Jay Takashi. You know how I get over here. Like I said, hello everybody. My name is Jay Takashi, and like I said, we're here to talk about, like I said, the animated Bible film, Joseph King of Dreams. Now, you ever go to the link is in the chat. You're welcome to come in, but I'm gonna get started real quick, and then you know, I'm gonna ask you questions of since you know if you've read the Bible, obviously anything that you can think of that you want to ask me. So all in all, okay, I do want to go say this on record. Joseph had a lot of brothers, and it's hard to tell how many he had because he had an extra one at the end. And I don't want to give false information, but guys, feel free to correct me on how many brothers he had in the Bible as compared to the film, because he had a total of 6 to 7 at least, and by the end, he had 8, which was Benjamin was born. But we'll get into that later. So literally the film. The film starts with Joseph being born. You know him. Like I said, all his older half brothers, literally, are awesome. And like I said, and all his half brothers are already older than him and everything. He's young and he's different. Now his father is Jacob and his mother is Rachel. And Jacob, the father of Joseph, literally tells him that you're a miracle child. Hence, one of the songs in the very beginning is like, "You're a miracle child," and you're different from everyone else. You won't be working, or like I said, your destiny is different from everyone else. It's how you made it seem. Like I said, you have different skill sets that your brothers do not have, and I'm teaching you different skills. These things are these quote unquote gifts are going to be used later on, and you don't even know it. More often than not, probably didn't tell him that part, but he did tell him that he was different, and instantly right there, like I said, we'll get it. Like I said, I will get into the dynamics of all this, but I'm going to be doing a quick summary of everything. So Joseph, he's being taught to read, write, Egyptian, and the thing is, those are the daily things he has to do. He, like I said, he's not in charge of the herd or or work in the fields and the yards, to, growing crops and things like that, like his family is, his older brother is, because he's not, because that's not what he what his father knows that he's meant to do, because he's literally born different. And the thing is, Joseph has dreams, more like, and they're more like premonitions, is what it's like. So it's kind of like you have a dream, but it's in a like you have a premonition, but it's in a form of a dream. You can literally see it very clearly. And I think everybody who's seen any media knows what a premonition is. But his was more so like, so anytime he would sleep, he would get the prophecy. He would get a prophecy about something happening, and it would literally happen the day after, or I guess when he wakes up. So quote unquote, he dreamed that he was chasing a sheep, and one of the a baby sheep and a ram was going to be attacked by wolves, and and he wakes up, he has a dream, he wakes up his brothers, and they say what's going on, quote unquote, and he says, all in all, I had a dream. There was a ram getting ready to get eaten, by wolves. And it's like, and he said, like, you woke him up earlier than usual, when they normally do their work routine, because they work constantly every day, the older brothers. And it's more like, so he talked to his father, Jacob about it, and quote unquote, like, it might be a gift. And he talked to him about it, but it doesn't come around. It doesn't come to the idea that it's actually happening yet, or he just had a silly dream or something like that to them. Um, so so Joseph actually he wants to play with his brothers, and constantly, his father's telling him you can't play with them and things like that, because the thing is Jacob actually secludes him from his brothers because of the gifts that he's taught him, and the gift that he's been given by God. And instantly that caused a friction between the two, between the younger brother and the older brothers, because you know all in all in all, they it's more so like they understand the work they have to do, but also they're very jealous of Joseph, you know because their father spends more time with him than he does with them. He congratulates them. He's like kind of like pampering him and spoiling him a little bit, because he has to spend more time with him because he's different. Hence, very, like I said, I keep using the word different because that's the term we're going to go with on there, because he is like, he's literally gifted from God with the ability to with the sight to see things, because he's literally a prophet of the Lord. And he's been given this ability, and doesn't know how so much it works or anything yet. But quote unquote, like, friction happens between the brothers, and the dream that he ends up they said the dream he ends up having actually never ends up happening. So so he literally said, like, you literally have an ability, son. Like, that's what Jacob says. Like, you have a sight for son. You have the sight, like, literally. Now, he doesn't say you have the sight, but you literally have a sight to see things before it happens through your dreams. And through that the brothers' jealousy gets bigger and bigger, because they believe, because he has another dream again. And it was literally, the dream was, he stands above them and they bow down before him. But how it was played in the animated film, they have like these little, I would say, like these little, I would say kind of like hay rolls of wheat, and they drop them down, each one of them, and it said the wheat, and then it says the wheat barrels have bowed down to me. That's what he said. Because you said you had a dream about us and things like that, and after that caused really bad friction, where it said the older brother, forget his name, Judah. I remember, like I said, I remember like 400 to 500 names right now. So yeah, but there's Judah, Simeon, and I think there's Jake, if I'm not mistaken. But and Benjamin. I know Benjamin. I'm on for I know. But because the other names don't get talked about a lot. So I, quote unquote, after that, and guys, I am gonna kind of speed this a little bit. a little bit. But I did want to point out that he wanted to spend time with his brothers, which his dad did let him, and quote unquote they asked him to watch the sheep, which hints he had in his dream. So that happened, and the thing is, we want you to you say, so Joseph, there's something you can do, just keep the herd from separating, just watch them, and we're gonna go do something else over here. He thinks that they're working when they said they're gonna go do something. But because Joseph, he just wants to be one of them. He just wants to spend time with his brothers because he never had a chance to really do it because he's been technically pampered and raised differently than the rest of them. And like I said, that causes friction when you treat one child different from the other, but also you raise them differently. But like I said, that goes to a deeper conversation later. But all in all, so quote unquote, let me get back to where I left off on. So like I said, so they literally are angry at Joseph that the fact that they think that Joseph's going to take one of their spots as running running the actual the herd, the yard, and quote unquote the migration of the freaking yard, because the oldest brother has to do it, and that's what they think whenever he has that dream, and it's like it's not really true. Like it was, like I said, it's just bad sense of self. Well, it's not selfishness. It's more their spiteful jealousy is what leads them to pick on Joseph, really bully him, and then all in all, like I said, tease him and push him down a hole, and he gets stuck there until nighttime. And little does slave traders come in, that their brother, that quote unquote that Joseph, he gets a rope, he climbs up it, and he thinks it's them, but it's really slave traders, like literally. And after that, they take him, and they say, like, and then Joseph says, "My brothers will come for me," all in all. And then to his surprise, his brothers actually are the ones who actually called these guys to come here to really, to sell him. And Joe, at first Joseph's actually happy, to see them because oh, they're here to help me, things like that. Misconception: they're here to give you away so that you never bother them or become a thorn in their side. Um, and with that 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 sets Joseph on his journey to to head to Egypt, pretty much, to be sold a slave and in Egypt and serve the second in command to the Pharaoh. And it's one of the most heartbreaking, depressing things you could ever see, like family actually betraying on you, and just because of their jealousy and anger and spiteful nature that they actually did that to you. Trust me, that's where in some part in the film where I feel for Joseph in that sense. But like I said, I'm going to go over this. Like I said, we're going to cover all this real quickly. I'm going to speed it for you guys. So all in all, like I said, like I said, the slave traders take him to Egypt. After that, he gets sold into being a household servant for like the palace. So like I said, forget his name, Porter, like kind of like it's like a proprietor. I guess that's the word I would use, but I forget his name because I say it's hard to say his name. Porter, I think. Let's just say Porter. That's his name. Porter literally, he needs someone to clean his house. Someone to do like the labor within the place. And Joseph, at this point, like I said, he's never worked a day in his life, and he's wanted to work a day in his life. But when he's first, when he starts doing the, scrubbing the floors and everything, his hands get like, gets really like bruised and sore. And also through those waters, he sees his brothers teasing him of what they did to him. Just a reminder of what they did to him. And like, it's like occurring trauma, like literally there. And it's like technically a haunting nightmare at that point where he just keeps seeing it because, they really hurt him badly. And, through that, he gains the favor of the second in command of the Pharaoh, Porter, which like I said, Porter. And he literally quote unquote, what's the word? he of course sees his hard work, and his wife, aka Porto's wife, actually takes an interest in Joseph. I will explain that later, not for good reasons, but to be useful. And that's the kind of the start of the relationship between him and Portor. And after that, he serves, and quote unquote. Oh yeah, by the way, I will mention throughout this time, there's a girl who who's his soon to be quote unquote wife. Eventually, he meets the girl who is soon to be his wife soon. Uh, but he actually helps. He actually helps the Portor actually in some of his endeavors. When he was trying to buy a horse, and to this man who was to this thieving man who was trying to blah, 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 I'm sorry, getting tongue tied. He's trying to he's using a ranky dink scale to how they would use a scale in order to determine like a balance in terms of change, weighing stuff. That's what he does. He uses a rinky dink scale. Joseph's able to catch him on his BS, and then after that, he's able to literally be able to tell him that he's being scammed, and he doesn't buy the horse, and Portor, he's actually impressed with Joseph being able to be able to spot that out, but also Portor he labels himself as an honorable man. He's fair, he's just. Yeah, he's fair, he's just, and he, like I said, he prides himself on being a person of integrity, which Joseph finds that endearing about him, which makes which later makes their whole debacle even more sad. He asked Joseph, what have you, he said, what else do you know how to do, like, what, tell me. He says tell me more about what you know how to do. He says I can read. He said I can read Egyptian, I can write it, and I have other abilities. I can paint and stuff like that. And I know I take writing, and guys, let's say painting for this is basically writing, because using ink to really paint things down. So it's kind of like painting and writing. It's the same thing when you're in Egyptian times. Now, throughout this time, Portor's wife, is actually trying to have favors for Joseph. She takes an interest in Joseph in a different way. Kind of throughout these times, there's certain scenes where she's trying to maybe take Joseph for himself, but her husband gets in the way. He comes at a time to where he wants to show him all that he's done for like a certain area that he let him do, and create and decorate a whole room to himself, which he did do, and it looked really beautiful. He painted his family, his brothers, the fields, the sunflowers. There we go, sunflowers. I remembered. Not dandelions, sunflowers. But Joseph he's having like constant reminders of his brothers. Like it. Trust me, this is a recurring theme throughout the entire movie. Where after his brother after his older brothers sold him into slavery more often than not, anytime he gets a reminder of it, he just all in all gets angry and triggered, which is a very reasonable response. I don't care what says. You feel how you feel in the situation, but you're right to be angry. And we'll I will let you on up in 5 minutes. Give me a second, brother. We're gonna be speeding this a little bit. So that happens. So Porto's wife tries to come on to Joseph. Joseph runs away, and first he asks her, what's wrong? Is there anything I can do to help? First of all, because she asked for her help. And, he kind of tells her a little bit, briefly tells her, like, my brothers betrayed me. They sold me into slavery, and they hurt me really, really bad. And I'm scarred. And, he says, I haven't been with my family in so long. And, of course, what she says, she tries to butter him up, tries to take advantage of his sweetness and his kind nature. And she says, oh, we're your family and things. And she tries to touch him in a sexual way more often than not. And the thing is, and Joseph he backs away from her, he runs, and then after he runs from her, she gets mad and gets spiteful and screams out loud. And we all know we in real life know what this is. This is what's called a setup, a false accusation. So she falsely accuses Joseph of to her husband that he quote unquote did such and such to her, which he didn't do. He's a sweet innocent boy. So no, he didn't really do that. But he got falsely accused of it. He gets sent. Now eventually he was gonna sentence him to death, but no. But the wife actually said just because she wants something to play with later on, hopefully she doesn't get caught or whatever, quote unquote. And she begs to have him be put in the dungeon, kind of more often than not. Like I guess to be with his thoughts and just spend out his days and shit like that. But yeah, don't worry. Like I said, we'll get back to what a hoe she ain't. But all in all, so Joseph spends his times in there, which he was falsely accused, and he meets these two men in this particular prison. One guy who he can tell their dreams because they said they're having the same dream. Well, not same dream, but they're both having dreams, and he's able to tell them, and he's able to tell what's going on through each one because he understands the symbols that he's been taught and also what his dreams have been telling him. And he told the one guy, quote unquote, you'll be serving wine to the Pharaoh. And the other dude says he's been carrying 3 baskets of breads and crows come to attack him, and he told him you'll be beheaded and things like that. So quote unquote, that happens. And a few days later, the one guy who he said he would be beheaded, pretty much, it happens. It pretty much happens. You see it off screen, but it does happen. And he's never seen it again. Now, the other guy who said he would pour wine, Joseph begs for him. And he says, tell Pharaoh about me. Tell him about my gift that I have. And during this time, Joseph goes through a very incredible struggle of solitude by himself. And he spins out, he actually is literally screaming in the sky to God, telling me, why did you give me this gift? Give this gift, you take away every bit of happiness from me. You do such and such, all this. Yeah. And it really is a emotional scene. With the color, the rain, and throughout these times, the girl that he met, let's say Nesca, she's giving him food at this time. Everybody, like I said, is soon to be wife and everything, but not yet. And it falls when she's trying to give it to him through the rain, and that's when he starts yelling and stuff. Being frustrated, angry, and just stressed out to the point where it's just like I've had it. And after a while, after he falls off a cliff, he tries to climb up out of it, and he falls and hits his head and he knocks out. So quote unquote, once that happens, he gets up, he sees the plant life that's actually in there, like whatever's left of the branch. He takes it off and he plants it in the ground, and he starts watering it and take care of it every day, to the point where it grows up to be like a big tree. And as days pass, you see certain scenes of him recalling his life, about the good memories he had with his family before the whole debacle. And it's what helps him, him putting time and effort into watering and taking care of this plant, and him actually finding solace and grace in it. To some degree, he does. And Porter shows up and saying that the Pharaoh wants to see you. And literally through the exchange, he actually, through his face, he knows what his wife was doing. He literally, no, as I say, he literally says, I'm sorry this happened. He said, I just couldn't believe that she did this and all this nonsense. And it's like, and then Joseph, through all the stuff he's been through, and through the connection he made with this man, even though he got falsely accused, he just says, I understand. At least you saw the truth, and eventually I'm out, and you see all the good that I have, and you value our friendship and our connection that we had, the bond. So he takes him to Pharaoh, um, and Pharaoh's literally saying, all my priests, all my wise men can't even tell me what's going on. You know, he said, why should your God be any different? He said, I'm told you're able to know what a dream is just by simply hearing the description of it. And he says, yes, I can. So, he tells them about what's going to happen, quote unquote. And the way it's animated is very well done. By the way, at least for the time in the 2000s, I enjoyed it. Showed them the cows coming up, that, quote unquote, Egypt is going to be going through a famine, route where things dry up and there won't be any food for anything. So he literally tells him, he breaks it all down to him like a science, literally, to where you do this, such and such, like you need to take 1/4 of one grain and then you need to stock up on it. Literally, that's what you do. And and Joseph literally tells him, he said, can this, through other dreams, can this be stopped? And it's like, yes, it can, sir. If we do this, then, and like I said, when he broke it down to him, it can be stopped if you do such and such. Once he broke it down to him, and then pretty much, poor, the Pharaoh asked Porto, he said, you trust this man? He says, with my life, literally. And after that, he gives him power over Egypt, second to the Pharaoh. Right after that, and Joseph is stunned and surprised, and he begins to, and this is the and trust me, and this is when Joseph begins his, quote, I'm not saying his reign, but more so, he begins to set out to do the task that he told Pharaoh that what he had to do. He actually partakes in the hard working, like he gets all the Egyptian guys to help. I didn't see, not particularly, I don't know if there were any slaves in there more often than not, so I can't tell. But there were workers there. And if there were slaves, then there were slaves too. But he was out there helping and working too, because he wasn't shy. Because the thing is, which is one of the things I admire, that he's out there actually working with them. Unheard of probably for a Pharaoh or someone who's Egyptian, but he's not Egyptian. And after that happens, as years pass, they build up the grain, and the starvation actually happens, quote unquote. And through this time, Nesca, who he would, or Oseka, forget her name, guys. I forget, I pronounce it wrong. Oseka or Nesca. But more often than not, Nesca, eventually, who he had a relationship, decided to, who he marries over the years. They have a family, 2 kids. And throughout this time, this is when all the grain has been like filled up through these statues of Pharaoh. 4 different ones carry a bunch of grain in each of them, like filled up to the brim. And they hand out grain to the people of Egypt and things like that. Now this is where like I said, this is where we get to close into the end, guys. We're we're getting close to the end now. Thanks for bearing with me for 28 minutes. But so Joseph sees his brothers and coming to get grain for their family. How you doing, Truth? You're welcome to come in, brother. I'm gonna let you on it. Like I said, I'm about to finish up, and then we're gonna I'm gonna let you guys come on up, and you're welcome to give your thoughts afterwards. But I realize I don't have any music on, but I think that might be better. Hold on, I'll play a little bit so you guys can not be bored with me hearing my voice. But there we go. So he sees them, and, his past memories of them doing what they did to him should resurface again from actually seeing them this time. And he says, arrest these men. They're thieves. They're lousy stealers. And quote unquote, his wife comes and talks to him because they have no idea of what's going on. And he tells his wife that, they sold me into slavery, such and such, like they're my brothers. And he says, I haven't been with my family in so long, and I don't even know if my father's still alive. I don't even know. And so he gave them a task. He says, I'll let you go if you go back and get the younger brother. Is what you'll do. And quote unquote, it happens. He brings them here, and and his name and it's Joseph's surprise. He has another brother named Benjamin, because he thought they were lying and that they were going to do it. And quote unquote, he shows up, and he actually says, and the thing is, he actually plays it quite well. Where he said, he said, how's your mother? And he's because he's actually trying to get answers to this. He says, my mother is gone, which is which his mother, Rachel, passed away. And then he says, your father. He said, my father's still alive, which means Jacob was still alive, which is good to hear. And he said, we said, whatever happened to your other brother? And he's like, he said he doesn't like to talk. He said like, quote unquote, he asked more about Benjamin. What do you do and stuff? Yeah, he said like, father, he likes to keep me close and everything because of what happened, to his other, my other brother I never got a chance to do, which was Joseph. And he says, really, what happened to him? He's like, we sold in slavery, things like that. Well, not sold in slavery, but it was like, quote unquote, he's like, he was eaten by wolves. That's the story our brothers told. That's what Benjamin knows, only what they said, because he doesn't know what they did. He's a newborn at the time, a younger brother. And Joseph makes them, Joseph does this grand thing where, he lets them, eat to a banquet and whatever, quote unquote, to get them to feel good, like, to brotherhood and things like that. He says, toast and everything. Brother Truth, if you want to come in, you're welcome to come in too. And so like I said, so he comes in, he literally, and like I said, and after that, that toast, he actually plants a trap. Like, it is a setup, he does, but he's doing it. But he's doing it to get some answers and actually try to understand, because he has been hurt so much, and he wants them to experience the same thing that he felt. And so like I said, so it's like this grand spectacle situation. And he literally says, why? He said, listen, why did I said, how about I'll take your younger brother and make him a slave, just like, why should you care? And things like that. And it's because more so Joseph saying, you did this to me, even though they don't know it's him yet. They don't know that he's Joseph. They don't recognize him at all. And it's like, because you did this to me, so why should you care if you do it? You did it to another one. And he says, no, we can't. He says, we can't leave without the boy. He says, because he said our brother, and he said we can't. He said we cannot burn our father again, like hurt him again, all over again. He says, hurt him how? He said, because our brother wasn't killed, quote unquote, by wolves. We were jealous of him when we sold him into slavery, and it broke our father, literally. He said, for 20 years we have lived with that guilt, and it's consumed us. He said, so we can't go. He said, we can't. Hear me? So we can't go back without the boy. He says, if anyone should be punished, it should be all of us for doing this. And Joseph literally sees, and then at the same brothers that he once knew, like, they're not jealous, they're not spiteful anymore. They've changed their ways more often than not. And Joseph literally breaks down and says, I will not hurt any of you or our father. And literally tells them that he's Joseph, their brother. And I tell you, that's one of the most emotional scenes I've seen ever. Because I think it takes more strength to, I'm going to be real, it takes a lot of strength to forgive somebody for something like that. Because realistically, I don't think anyone would ever be able to forgive someone like that. Personally. But, he tells them who he is. And then he says, he says, I have so much to tell you and everything and all that. And then he literally hugs his brother, the oldest brother, Judah. And says, he said, can you ever forgive us? And he says, I already have. And he even apologizes and says, can you forgive me for thinking I was some sort of miracle child, spoiled miracle child? And he says, but you are a miracle. He said, listen, God sent you, gave you the ability to save all Egypt and help our faith, save our family. He's and literally. So he introduces his. So literally, we get to the last part of the movie, where he introduces his wife, his kids to his brothers, and he says, "You." He said, "You all." He says, "All." He says, "You guys will stay, come here, live here with me, and your families." And literally the last scene, you see him and his big, large family where he comes from, all come to Egypt, and literally, he sees his father again. Literally sees him and hugs him, and like I said, heartwarming, wholesome, and really well straight through story. All in all, guys, that's the summary. We included it in 35 minutes and 50 seconds. Sorry about that, guys. I gotta do it for some of these movies. Now, anybody who wants to come on up, you're welcome to come on up. Pagoda, since you were here, you get to come up, brother. So here we go.
Hello.
How you doing, Pagoda?
I'm okay. You're lucky that I got to sleep early and woke up so early. Anyway, that's that movie is definitely a good movie.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I
blessings
didn't see
in there.
it as a child, but as an young adult. But still, this movie is very touching.
Yeah, man. It really, I say, it really tugs on the strings a little bit for me. No, guys, it didn't make me cry, but at the same time, if I was younger, when I saw Prince of Egypt, I would have cried at it, most likely. Now that I'm older, I was just sad and depressed in some regards to what happened to Joseph, because jealousy is a very ugly thing, and that's a big thing in this movie, or in Joseph's journey. Him being raised different, him being separated from his brothers. I think the story would have been different had he had been like more. I'll say this: if he wasn't as focused as his brothers, he probably couldn't save them in the very end of the duty and task he had to do. Which, like I said, the struggle of what a character has to go through, like Moses, similar to Joseph, you have to go through strife and struggle, which I personally hate that you have to, but I know it's necessary. But really, you don't hear any other hardships that some other characters have to go through. That's why it's so important that you have it. And through this movie, you can see that I will say this: he did struggle a lot, and he had some highs, he had some lows, but he ultimately had a high at the very end. Because he could have went for turn. He could have just been turned. He could have just said execute these dudes because they freaking did that, but he didn't do that because he's not a vengeful person. But at the same time, or spiteful, but his anger was justifiable for being angry at them. I can understand that, and justifiably so. So, it takes a lot of. I think it takes a lot of strength to forgive someone. That's what I'm saying, and I don't think in the real world anyone will ever forgive someone for that. I don't think I ever could. And honestly, I think it would have to take me being in the mountains and maybe becoming a nomad to really or to have enlightenment like a monk to probably forgive someone for that. Brother Truth, how you doing?
Good evening, gentlemen. How you guys doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Great. I'm well, sir. Thank you for asking.
Actually, I'm confused. I'll be honest. When I got home, or at least when I got off of work, I was a little confused of some stuff. I don't know. Not like work stuff. It was more weather and sky related.
Oh, you said like the atmosphere for you wasn't.
Yeah, it changed very drastically. Not angry or mad to me. The atmosphere around me, so weird.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like 1 second it was like bright cloudy and then it got dark like out of nowhere to me. And normally I pick up on those things whenever it happens, but this was kind of just came out of nowhere. I don't know, but don't worry. That's a deeper conversation for another day, guys. But brother Truth, so have you seen Joseph King of Dreams? Or have you read it from the Bible? I would assume since you're a Bible study, sir, you know Joseph's story, right? Oh, he probably fixing his mic. The truth, just let me know when you're coming back. I'm still here, but Pagoda.
Yes.
So what did you think about Joseph's journey, his spiteful brothers who changed, and yeah, I gotta say it. I'm gonna hold them motherfuckers because that's just wrong to do, but really wrong. Okay, everyone says, but and like I said, what do you think his journey? What do you think about Joseph's journey as a whole?
I think that it's if like you said, it's almost impossible to forgive people that do this to you.
It can really mess you up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's usually if I would been in the brother's shoes and I would bet where he's at, then he'll probably be discarded and be in a slave in some household or something. Not as the second most powerful person in Egypt.
Right.
So they literally sent him to a life of misery. I will not be able to forgive them.
I wouldn't either. I'm gonna be realistic because I don't. Somebody said I got to go through all of this pain, torture, and suffering. Like I understand. I can understand if I did something bad, like really bad, to deserve some like be. First of all, I don't know if anybody deserves anything bad enough to be a slave to somebody, but I can't imagine me doing something so bad to the point where my brothers was trying to sell me into slavery, or them just be jealous at me just to do that. Like seriously, I would think about like what did I do?
Yeah, I don't think that they deserve his forgiveness, I must say.
Yeah, I think his whole thing was about redemption and forgiveness, but also setting out a goal to save lives. He naturally was a good person.
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, we said. Hello?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh,
We hear you, brother.
I'm trying to figure out what the heck was going on.
Yeah, because you went dead silent, and I was like, I guess he went somewhere, and I said like he'll be back. I'm right here. Like I said, we'll be here. But
Alright.
and I think that tells me that
I couldn't even hear you guys.
Oh yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, at first I couldn't hear you, but I could see you. I didn't know what the heck was happening. What the heck happened?
Make sure we take care of any faults. How do I sound? I sound all good, right?
Yeah, y'all sound good. I was just like when I was looking at first, like you said y'all couldn't hear me, but I couldn't hear y'all equal. Like I saw like the screen and everything, and you talking. I'm like, why I can't hear them? So
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. But what I'm saying is, Joseph's journey is one of not a difficult one. I'll probably say a little bit more. I don't want to say the same as Moses, but it's still the hardship and things that you have to go through are kind of crazy because technically Moses' only strength was having to galvanize and save all his people and free them. That was his hardship and getting them across to the land. So it was still incredibly hard task, but he still did it. Joseph was just more. I think Joseph had a little bit more harder. I'm not trying to compare like characters in the Bible or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm more often going off the things of what he mentally had to go through, and trying to find himself, not trying to lose and not losing himself, which was very hard for him. That takes a lot of willpower to do what he did, to forgive somebody, and also to he helped. Like I said, he did end up saving all of Egypt. At that time, like literally, he managed to find some sense of happiness. He got married, had kids, had a little family of his own. He had power of Egypt, like second to the Pharaoh, and he literally showed his hard work when he helped the workers and everything. So he was anything but lazy. So, I mean, I kind of personate where like you grow out of that kid mentality and then you grow into an adult mentality, but also you stay who you are. And I think one of the things I learned from this movie is that keep true to who you are. And through the strife and pain, who your parents like I said, who your parents raised lives on through you. No matter the task in front of you. That's what I really got from it. And also, hey man, I don't want to say this, guys. This is a Bible talk. I don't want to be theirs, but Porto's wife was unfaithful. So I was going to really speak in modern friggin' terms, but I'm like, nah, let me speak correctly. Yeah, she's an unfaithful witch. So no. But false, like I said, the story deals with false accusations, false imprisonment. I would say trauma to an extent when it comes to be sold off by your own family. When it comes to you having dreams of certain things that are going to happen, it puts you in a position to have second. Like I said, you have pretty much the eye of the Pharaoh on you. He's covering you, guarding you. And you produce it. Once you produce your results, it's like, all right, I did right by going with this boy. He knows what he's talking about. And he helped save our food. But Truth, let me know when you got your stuff fixed, because I do want to hear what you have to say.
No, yeah, I'm ready. I was waiting for you to finish.
All right, go ahead, brother. I want you to get your thoughts out.
All right, what's that noise?
I think it's there's a echo somewhere. Hold on.
Guys, I have something to say about that movie. First of all, I think that movie was too short compared to the first movie.
Oh, compared to Prince of Egypt?
Yeah, it was definitely way. If it was better if it was more longer.
Oh yeah. This movie was like an hour and 14 minutes. Is what it is. Like I said, I recently rewatched it just now before the stream started. Like literally, I rewatched the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because I needed to watch over it. Because I needed to be fresh in my brain. I'm like, oh okay. And I've said this. Like I said, I think this movie tackles a whole bunch of different world topics you can take with you. Yeah. When I say a whole bunch, I mean like 6 that I got out of here. I got like 6 things that I got from out of this movie. Lessons of what to take. And also, when it comes to separating kids from each other, even though like siblings away from each other, which isn't a smart thing to do. Like I said, this is a Bible story more than that, so things have to play out the way they have to play out, but I'm not doing that. I'm not separating my brothers because that's how jealousy starts. And we're not doing that. Because had you not separated them, I think they would have loved Joseph the way he was. They actually wouldn't go to hate Joseph. They'd have been like, yo, this is what we do. This is how the hard work goes. And once Joseph showed his hard work and stuff, I think the people would become more accepting of him. Brother, I do agree with you. It was short, but I didn't have a problem with that. I don't think it was. I think it needed to be the length of everything that you need to take from the actual quote unquote story, and add it there. But at least it wasn't like 50. No, not 50. At least it wasn't like 30 minutes. Like, bro, that's not a movie. It's an episode. But it was good for what they showed. The animation was on point. I enjoyed the animation and the designs of the characters. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
Strictly identifying Joseph, literally looking a lot different than the rest of his brothers.
You identify Joseph as what?
No. I'm talking about like they did a good job like making him different from the other brothers. Like his hair color, his eyes were all different. He had like you said, he had a clear distinction from him than his other because his brothers they're his half brothers, but they're still family.
Yeah, but it's also there is some stuff that were not accurate in the Bible story. Is supposed to have a shirt with many colors, and then when they sell him as a slave, they took his shirt and stuff.
Yeah. They took a shirt
So
and brought it back to his
he
dad.
didn't have.
That's all.
I think they did a mistake when they didn't give him the right shirt in terms of details. And also, I think I think it was to paint the guy that bought him and in the end of the day throw him to jail. I think it was a mistake to paint him as a good guy.
Okay.
At the end of the day, somebody after he made his mistake, he could get him out. I don't see why he did not.
They didn't go their way to try to find him and things like that. Yeah, after that, they realized what they've done. And Princess and Konnichiwa, Himeke, son, how you doing? Nice to see you again, Princess K. What's up? But all in all, I do the one thing that I do like. And this is being accountable in a sense where they said we sold them and everything, and it's like for 20 years we've lived with that guilt, and it's like killed us to an extent. Like it's really torturing us. And like I said, eventually, chickens come to roost. And Joseph put him in the same situation that they did to him. Because it was a way of getting back at them for doing what they did to him. And like I said, I completely understand. Doesn't mean that's, and I know from a health standpoint, if realistically, you have to confront your past, and you need to do what you need to do to make sure you settle it. But one of the things I suggested was by not killing them. No, you shouldn't kill them. Number one, I'd say that. Number two, I would say visually get out what you need to get out to them. Make your stand. Make your grandstand of what you did. Make them own up to it. I would say that, and then they have to own that early. So it's kind of like not triple murder or anything, but like double the guilt. So, I think yes, they are terrible people for doing what they did, but they said 20 years. That's a lot of years. I ain't gonna lie. 20 years is a lot of years. To live with something like that, trust me. And the thing is, I don't think they live in peace more often than not. I think they say they've lived with it, and they don't look like they're too happy. Because they understand that when it hurted their father, they were just like, we're terrible people. You are. And I wouldn't be done with them personally yet. I would let them live out the days that he left as a slave, just so they can get an understanding of what they had to go through. Let him go, of course, eventually at some point. But yeah, it's more so like when Joseph had his ability. I mean, I've said abilities. When Joseph was in the position that he was in, he decided to give them the same thing that happened to him, as a way of some sense of justification and revenge against it, because that's technically you getting, like I said, reap what you sow, in a sense. But Brother Truth, you there?
Yes, sir.
We want you to get your takes out, brother, because I've been speaking long enough. I really want to hear what you have to say. I feel like I've been holding the bull behind the horns. I know you've been muted every time, but I want you to get your take out, brother. No one's gonna interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I was listening to you guys and everything. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the movie or video or whatever, but I've read it so many times.
That's good enough.
Me being in the faith and everything and reading the story, time and time again. A couple of years ago, reading it over again all the way out. And one thing I love about, being connected with God and having the Holy Spirit, each time that you read it over the years, you'll find something even more out of the same thing that you read. Like it gets even more in depth. So basically, Joseph, we already know is one of a person in the Bible name that's familiar with that, and that's Jesus' father.
Yeah.
And Joseph is basically what's called a foreshadowing. It's a foreshadowing of Jesus Christ. So the his 12 brothers and sisters, they were the 12 tribes of Israel. And they are the 12 tribes that will denounce Christ and send him to the enemy, just like they turned him over to, basically the enemy. And in the end, when they came back, they didn't recognize him. Just like when Christ comes back, no one was able to recognize him when he came.
Yep.
Excuse me, but what do you mean send them over to the enemy? You know that.
Sir, I'm speaking.
Hold on, we'll go to, you gotta let him go.
Yes. When I finish, you can ask me a question.
Yeah.
So, when they came back to visit him, when they was in famine and everything, and the father died, and he kept going back and forth to, they wanted to visit and everything, they didn't even recognize him. So just like the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the descendants and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, how they don't recognize who Christ is.
Mm-hmm.
And he constantly say, if you knew the Father, then you truly shall know who I am. In other words, you should know exactly who I am. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed to me. David talked about me. They're the ones that gave me. He even asked, how then am I the son of David when David basically prayed to me? And basically it was written by there's a passage written back in Psalms. He's basically saying that I am God. I am the one that David has been praying to this whole time. So when they came back and they didn't recognize him, and still after all the things that he did and went through for them, he still forgave them. The same way Christ, when he was on the cross, he said, forgive them, Lord, for they not know what they did. So Joseph is a foreshadowing, just like the ark for Noah. That's a foreshadowing of Christ as well. So throughout the Bible, there's certain foreshadowings of Jesus Christ and everything. What was your question, sir?
First of all, that's you mean foreshadowing according to you, according to the New Testament. Let's be just accurate about that. Second, let me remind you that the Jews didn't the one that execute Jesus. The Romans did it, and the Romans in the end of the day.
Say that again.
Say it again, Magoda. You can't hear
What was the first thing you said?
I said that according to your interpretation, it's what you said about Jesus, that it's overshadowing Jesus.
Foreshadowing. Do you know what that means?
Oh, foreshadow. Okay.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Do you understand what that means?
According to you, it's foreshadowing. Okay, that's and the Jews didn't kill him. The Romans killed him.
Hold on, we'll go to you kind of went past it real quick. You said,
do you understand what a foreshadowing is?
That's what he's saying. Like, you understand, what foreshadowing is what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying that is according to him, not according to the Bible. Or you can say according to the New Testament, but not according to the Jewish Bible.
Okay, so what is a foreshadowing, first of all? And then we'll deal with whether it was not a foreshadowing. I want you to tell me why it isn't a foreshadowing before we go anywhere else.
Okay, it's a story that happened in the Bible, and it's just a story. The story about what you're telling about in the New Testament, story that doesn't have nothing to do with it. It's events that's not connected to each other. But if you want to believe that it's connected, then go ahead and believe it, whatever.
Huh?
But
hold on, Jay. Let me deal with this.
I didn't finish. I can finish, please.
Yeah, go ahead, finish. Make sure you stay on subject though.
Oh,
okay, that's one. And second,
no, stay on this subject. We're not going away from here.
You have to stay on the main one because he said.
Yeah, we got to stick with this first before we go anywhere else.
Because he's asking what is foreshadowing, and he says, If you don't believe it's foreshadowing, then what would it be?
Yeah, what is foreshadowing? And then let me know why it's not foreshadowing.
I told you it's just an event. You know, it's.
Oh, I didn't hear him say that. Okay, you said it's an event.
You know, the events that you see in those stories are events. You know, it's not. If you want to believe it's foreshadowing your stuff in the New Testament, then go ahead and believe it. But just you know, to claim, period, that it's according to everybody that follow the Christian and Hebrew Bible and whatever Bible it's for them, then you know it's people will not agree with you on that. But you know, I want to talk about the second thing that you said that.
Well, hold on before
What?
you can't just make a statement and then just go to somewhere else.
That's what he's
So
saying.
Princess K has put the what's the name
I'll
down
put it
on
up.
It
I
says
just,
foreshadowing.
my statement is just that is your specific interpretation. That's all. I didn't say
Alright,
that you are wrong. I didn't say you're right. I just said that is your interpretation.
Well, at first you did say that's wrong. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, that's why he asked.
Yeah,
you, like,
that's why I asked your question. So now you're saying just if you're just saying okay, that's my understanding, then okay.
Okay.
But
I just put in a point that it's your interpretation specifically. Okay.
oh yeah, but at first, again, sir, you said I was wrong. So if you want to retract that, or if I was wrong, you're going to have to read this definition and then tell me why that is not what this says, a warning or indication of future events, and you're going to have to prove to me why that's not.
First of all, you're the one that claiming it's showing future events, so you should show us. You know, first of all, those are only because it's similar to something that happened more 1,000 years after it. Then it's not mean that it's connected to each other or something.
All right, and
But if you want to believe that is foreshadowing that, then go ahead, believe it if you want.
Well, hold on. Truth, actually, I do want to say something to this. Hold on. But and truth, I heard everything you had to say. So I want to let you know when you were explaining, you know, he got the foreshadowing and everything, like Joseph's ability and things like that. What God gave him the ability to see and things like that. Basically, we'll go to what we. I say we because I'm on board. Truth. Joseph's abilities were like anything he saw was a foreshadowing of a warning of indication of a future event that was going to happen. Within the movie, you've seen it, but also in the book where Truth has read, which it's in the Bible, it's a foreshadowing event. It's the same thing. The difference is they are different. Yeah, like I said, it's the same thing except there are differences from the Bible. Like I said, maybe they didn't animate or put everything all in there. That's why Truth is giving out what he's read thoroughly because he reads it. But that's why it is a foreshadowing more often than not of an event, of a possible occurrence. Now I had possible because that's technically what it is.
Okay, guys,
And no, that's what he's asking more often than not because that's why he said, were you willing to retract it? Because it's not what I believe; it's what was written in there. Now, granted, he can say, "Why are you saying now?" Now he's asking you, "Did you not think it's not foreshadowing?" Because it wouldn't be foreshadowing if that wasn't in there, or if it wasn't written or quote unquote produced.
Okay, guys, I don't see how exactly it's foreshadowing, but if you want to believe such a thing, then go ahead and believe it.
All right. That's it right there.
Okay.
What you said, if we want to believe that it is it not foreshadowing or is it not? That's what I'm asking you. It's not
So,
because
guys, only because I don't understand how it's foreshadowing what's going to happen to Jesus 1,000 years after it. But if you want to believe it, if this is how you want to interpret it, then go ahead.
Well, it's not how I'm interpreting it. It's what's written down. If it's, I'll say this. Other than the movie, because I'm taking the movie out right now. If it's in the book, And there's like, if you read things that make things lead up to certain events that are going to happen, that's foreshadowing. And in any story or any book, there's always foreshadowing. Yeah, it can be good or bad, but it's still foreshadowing. You know
I
what
don't
mean?
get how it's foreshadowing.
No,
exactly.
Brennan, no, go, hold on. They may not be using the term. Hear me? They may not be using that term in the Bible, but doesn't mean that foreshadowing isn't in there. For example, the whole Samson, I could say Samson and Delilah, how that was going to be set up. There's foreshadowing that Delilah is going to strip Samson of his abilities that God has given him. That's what that would be, right? Like she didn't do it out of nowhere, right? Like when we read it, right? They would have had to have been stuff written down prior, like a sense of foreshadowing prior written down to state that, quote unquote, she is going to strip Samson of his abilities.
May I say something, Jay?
Say what? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So again, the only reason why I asked you the question is because one thing I don't play about if somebody says that I'm wrong, which means if I'm wrong, then that means I have an opportunity to learn something. Now, when you state that somebody is wrong, you have to then disprove their statement. And if you cannot do that, then what you just did was very, very ignorant. So, again, foreshadowing is a warning or indication of future events. So if you want me to break that down once again, how many children were there altogether?
12. So
I asked you a question. How many children?
I answered you. There were 12 children there. So
okay. So
for the record, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. So 12 children.
Yeah, and if you want to get into the details of Judea
hold on.
What? I want to answer you. You talked when I spoke, so I want to say also stuff. When
I asked a question,
if you want to compare it,
going on to something else.
Bro, I want to answer you, okay?
Okay, I asked you how many children it was. That was the only question I had.
And then
yeah, but I'm trying to say to you something, okay? Look, in Judea, in the time of the crucifying of Jesus, all the idea of 12 tribes, they all mixed with each other, so that stuff was not around anymore, okay? There were Jews back there, not 12 tribes. Like I said, it's all the 12 tribes stuff. They all mix and stuff, and like I said, in short, they all identify as Jews.
Okay, so, I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I'm comparing. You compare the because there were 12 children.
Okay.
12
yeah. How many
there.
children were there? That's the question that I asked. How many children were there? And then you went off
12.
No, he said. No, he was saying. He's saying when you said 12 tribes, he said.
No, I said how many children.
No. But when you remember, you were saying for the fourth shadow, which you was right. But the reason why
that's why I'm asking the question. We're jumping the gun. I'm gonna take it very slow. We're gonna get there.
You're not listening to him. Just
we're going to get there. We're gonna get to that 12 tribe thing. We gotta start.
No. Hold up. I know you're gonna get to the 12 tribe, but he said in his time. He's saying in his time, his time in Jesus Christ, it wasn't no 12 tribes.
Okay, I get that. So I'm still going to go to there with that what's actually in the Bible.
Right.
So I don't care what he's saying. I go by what's actually in the Word. So I don't care what nobody talks. I go by what's in that Word. Right. And in that Word, I want to know how many children was in it. That's what I want to know. And then we're going to go down to the actual facts inside of the book, not when nobody's talking. Because see, that's one thing I don't do a whole lot of talking. I actually read, and I actually follow what's in that book. So when it comes to this, I know what I'm talking about. This is my life right here. Okay, so that's why I'm asking the question.
Okay.
I'm not one of these fake people on here claiming to be Christians on here. Okay,
I'm not a Christian. I never said I'm a Christian. I'm not a Christian.
I'm not talking about you, sir. I know you're not a Christian. I can tell how you speak. I know you're not a Christian. I'm talking about myself and others that claim to be one that do not. They don't even know the book.
Right.
They don't read. They're not in that book every day. They're not dedicated to God every day. So I don't go by people talk. I need to know what's actually in that book. So we're talking about the Holy Bible, right? We're talking about the King James Version, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Look, I'm not using the King James Version.
Okay.
I'm using the original Bible, the Hebrew Bible.
Now, thank you for saying that. So, what you're reading out of, I do not have, and I don't read out of that. So, of course, we're going to have different information.
That's the difference right there. Okay.
So
we're talking at the end of the day about different books.
That's the difference right there. So this is why I'm at. So what I read, there were 12 children, like you said in Joseph's story. Everyone knows what tribes came out of each one of those 12 children, which are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Uh-huh.
Everyone knows that actually reads that book. The 144,000 that speaks about in Revelation, they came from them 12 children as well. This is basic Bible right here. You're supposed to know this. This is basic. This ain't even nothing. Now, something that is not basic Bible is what I was talking about, the foreshadowing. And for Princess K, it's not only one foreshadowing, it's several foreshadowings in the Bible. I gave you one, which is Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark was a foreshadowing of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Another foreshadowing.
I don't see it like this, but again,
you don't have to. You don't have to. A lot of people read the Bible with a natural mind as well, carnal. They don't read it spiritual. So that's another thing. A lot of people don't even know what foreshadowing actually means. I didn't know what an actual foreshadowing means when I first became a babe in Christ. But over the years, after continuously reading, certain things got revealed more and more when I was able to eat what's called strong meat and understand what's going on.
Okay, look, again, I'm trying to tell you again, if you want to believe that, go ahead, but that's your interpretation.
I am.
I will happy I'm going to believe it because
God showed it to me.
Right.
Okay, you're just, again, I'm telling you, bro, this is your interpretation and stuff, and I want to touch the second stuff that in this, you said that the Jews killed Jesus or something, gave Jesus. I didn't listen exactly what did you say.
Hold on. You said two different things. What did I say? Because you're gonna when you repeat what I said, you're gonna have to do it correctly. So what exactly do you think I said? And then I'm gonna tell you what I said.
You said something that the Jews gave Jesus to the Romans, or you compare.
No, I never said anything about Romans.
No, you said anything about Romans.
You said Romans.
Okay, not kill Jesus or something.
I said Jesus or something. Okay, so you didn't hear what I said. So would you like me to say what I said?
Okay, say it again then.
Okay, there we go. So what I said was the same way the Pharisees, Caiaphas, which hid Jesus down in the Bible, in the bottom of that bottom and wrongfully accused him. Brought him to what was the guy named? The Roman leader at that time. I forgot his name. What was his name, Ron?
I mean, what exactly?
Oh, Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate. Thank you. Accused him of blasphemy. That's what he accused him of, which he did not. So the same way they gave their brother, who did nothing wrong. This is why it's called a foreshadowing. He did nothing wrong. Loved his brothers. They gave him away. Imprisoned him.
Okay.
So this is why it's
called foreshadowing. I think that's the problem.
And then the same thing when Jesus came back, Emmanuel came back. They did not recognize him. And the first thing, when they saw Joseph, he was standing right in front of them, and they did not recognize him. In the same way, those children came back and was forgiven. Jesus Christ shall forgive Israel the same way in the end. That's what it speaks about in Revelation.
Let's put something straight. All those rabbis that you said, that the Pharisees that you said, remind me who put them in charge. I will tell you who the Roman guy that they gave Jesus to. So, in other words, those specific Pharisees are nothing more than a Roman puppet. They are not presenting the people of Israel. And only to, because what those Roman puppets did, I don't think that the Jewish people need to bear the death of Christ on his shoulders. In the end of the day, the Romans killed him.
Are you Jewish?
Like I said, yes, I am. I'm from
Oh,
Israel.
so that's why. Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What do you think we're talking about?
So you don't want that burden, shorty?
Okay.
I'm what?
Pagoda, you said they was Romans.
What's so funny?
You said they was Romans puppet, but that doesn't take the fact that they was Jewish. They were Jewish Romans.
No,
You can say that, but they were Jewish.
Those specifically they were Jewish. Okay, the Romans put them in charge. They control them.
You number one for this one.
You said the Romans put them in charge, but that doesn't take away that they wasn't Jewish.
So because of those few individuals, all the Jewish people is guilty of Jesus' death. Come on.
No, but I'm saying the Jewish that brought them to you, they was rabbis. The rabbis brought Jesus to Rome. That was and then he was crucified on a Jewish law, not a Roman law.
First of all, no. If somebody will, if a Jews will execute him, then probably it will be with stoning, and they had a lot of chances to do that if they wanted to.
No, but
crucifixion is the Roman thing.
I'm not talking about the religious law. I'm talking about the law that they had with the Roman Empire.
Yeah, as I'm telling you, the Roman Empire crucified people, and the specific Roman governor that the guy here mentioned, he was famous for being violent and for killing a lot of people, even in Roman standards.
Right, but I'm saying, have you read the New Testament?
So that's what I'm about to say. What's something's different in your book?
Have you read the New Testament?
No, did you read the Hebrew Bible? No.
I've read
Hey Vaughn, that book is different. That's what I'm saying. I gotta get a copy of that.
I gotta get a copy of that too.
Yeah, we're talking about two different books from two different languages.
He said you're not going to blame us for that. That was the Romans.
You talking about the Hebrew? You talking about which Hebrew Bible you talking about?
I just didn't.
About the original Hebrew Bible. That's what I'm talking about.
No. But which Hebrew Bible you talking about? It has the New Testament in it.
You gotta be a comedian though. Dead ass though. You funny.
Talking about when I'm saying the Hebrew Bible, I mean the Old Testament. There's no New Testament Hebrew Bible. That's the whole point in it.
That's exact. That's what I was getting to. There's no New Testament in the Hebrew Bible. So have you read the New
Exactly,
Testament?
Princess K. That's what he got a different book than us. I'm trying to tell you. He said you're not going to blame me.
Different book, different language.
No. I'm saying. Have you read the New Testament?
Who sent him to her?
Okay. So
I heard the stuff about it and heard the stuff from people that read it, but I didn't read it. Like you didn't read the Old Testament or the Quran or the Book of Mormon or whatever.
I'm currently reading the Quran, so ain't nobody gonna tell me shit about that. I'm currently reading that shit right now, surprisingly.
Yeah, I need that book. Vigoda. I need that book.
Vigoda, that's his name.
Vigoda. I need to see what is the difference that y'all saying in that book on the last hours of Jesus Christ. I need to see
doesn't.
if there's a difference.
They don't have the New Testament in that book.
I don't think.
Yeah.
So
that's the
how
problem.
do you?
Actually, no. See, I wouldn't know that because I didn't know.
No,
that.
hey Vega. So y'all don't have the
You call me
last
V.
hours of Christ
No,
in that book.
that's not.
No, we don't
That's why
have
he's- that's
the
why
Jesus
he's
stuff in
talking about
the old. We don't have the Jesus stuff.
They don't
We are
have that.
Jews. We are not Christians.
AJ, listen. So he gonna listen. So let me get this straight.
Go ahead.
He gonna tell me that they didn't do that because they didn't put in that book because they know that they was wrong. And now they sure they got right
Okay.
up.
What's so funny?
That's crazy.
They ain't got yo. I learned something new today. I learned something new. Oh my gosh, I gotta write this down, yo.
I don't get
They
what's
don't
so
even
funny.
have it in their book.
I don't know if it's written the same
Oh,
because
my
everything's
goodness.
translated differently at this point.
No, it's not. The
my-
Jewish Bible is what he's talking about. No, they don't have the New Testament, and theirs is in Hebrew. Which Hebrew is it in? Is it in Paleo Hebrew, or which Hebrew?
Vaughn, he's saying that they
Hebrew,
don't
it's in
have-
biblical Hebrew.
Biblical,
Yeah.
okay. The biblical, which biblical?
I just can't. Don't say
Hebrew?
what to me because I don't know.
No, Vaughn, you're not understanding. They don't have the last hours of Christ in
They
it.
don't. What? No. I know that they don't have the New
Yeah,
Testament.
the
at all
1,000
in
times.
there.
Yeah, so no, so listen, so this is why this is why I'm laughing is because just imagine if you know, see what happened is that book that they got, that's the book passed down from a long time ago.
Right. Yeah. I got
Which means is the only reason why you would not add those events in there is if you know you was wrong. And
Well,
like
no,
he
they
said,
don't believe it. They don't believe
somebody
it.
told
No, it's like
him-
I would add the events of Abraham
They
Lincoln,
don't
the
believe
events
him.
of
Hold on, guys.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Vaughn, somebody told him that they did not do that, but in the book that we're reading, they did.
You're right. You're right. but I'm saying the reason why they don't
Listen, guys, the reason that the
they don't believe in
that the
Jesus
Hebrew
Christ.
Bible doesn't have Christ is because
Right.
it
They
happened.
don't believe in Jesus.
It's
Right.
not
They
relevant
don't
to
believe in
the
Jesus Christ
Bible.
at all.
Okay, to us it's not relevant.
Right.
If
They
you-
don't believe
for you
in
it's
Jesus
relevant for
Christ.
us.
Would you say Pagoda? Hold on, Vaughn.
I said that the Hebrew Bible doesn't have Jesus
Right.
because it's not relevant. You know, after you had a lot of big events after the Bible of our Bible is ended, but still, it's not. It's after you had the judges and stuff and
Right.
all that.
They don't
so
even have all
not
the Old
relevant.
Testament. They don't have all the Old Testament in their Bible. They only got
Wow, so y'all don't even have.
Actually, we have the Old Testament. We have.
So
we
you
have-
read the one. So wait a
Do
minute.
y'all got Jeremiah? Do y'all got Jeremiah in there?
Probably I know him in another name, but
You must wait a minute. Don't
What
you
did he
only
say? I
have
couldn't hear.
these-
Hold on, Vaughn. I couldn't hear him. Would
I
you
said
say?
probably I know your Jeremiah, but I probably know him in another name or something.
Okay. So the guy. So let me. His story is what was Jeremiah's story? So I can explain it. Maybe you know what I'm talking about.
Do you have how many books you have in your book? Pagoda in the Torah. How many
How many what?
books?
Say it again.
How many
Books?
books?
The 5 books. There is
That's
5 books.
5 books, right? It's more than 5 books in the
Yeah,
Old
but you.
Go ahead, Pagoda.
So look, hey Vaun,
no,
I
think
bet
it's
you
5
they
books.
took
I
out
don't
all.
know.
Huh?
Hey Vaughn, I bet you they
Actually,
took out all the
I
books.
don't sure.
Hey Vaughn,
Right.
check this
You're
out.
not
I bet
sure?
you they took out all the books that prophesied about the Messiah.
They probably did. Yeah, they probably did.
No, but
Oh no, they got. I think no, they got Deuteronomy. Remember, Moses.
That's not
prophesied.
Deuteronomy. Don't prophesy. That's the law.
No. Remember, he said that it will be a prophet that comes after me, like me.
No, that's not in Deuteronomy, bro.
Which one is that in?
That's in the prophet books. That's in Jeremiah. That's in also who
No,
else?
Moses said that. It's in Moses' book. Moses said that.
Huh?
Yeah.
look, we
Moses
have
said
in terms of
Moses
books, we
didn't
have
say there's gonna
you
be a
know,
prophet after me.
yes, it is.
guys. in terms of books, we have books from Adam and Eve until the Persian occupation of Israel, okay? Well,
yes.
After the Persian occupation of Israel, the Bible stopped, okay?
See, I told you, Vaughn, they don't have none of the Messiah in there.
Okay.
Well, no. That's no. If they got what
Jay
Moses
Bones, brother, if you're
talked
in the chat, man.
I could
But
pull
we
it
have
up.
Talmud, so
Yeah,
that's our
you gotta show me that.
Yeah.
You gotta show me that, Vaughn.
Okay.
Because the person that took over after Moses was, I said Vaughn, not Vigada.
Yeah, Vaughn, yeah.
Yeah, Vaughn. You gotta show me where.
Oh shit, my neck.
Because the successor to Moses was Aaron.
That sounds about right.
What?
Was who?
The successor to Moses was Aaron.
Aaron.
Oh no, Joshua
brother,
came
right?
after Moses. Remember,
Joshua was the
over
successor.
after Moses. Yeah, Joshua took over. Aaron was the priest.
Yeah, Joshua was his successor.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about the when I mean by takeover, I'm talking about the person that was like what we call the intercessor, the person that was connected to God. Joshua was the warrior.
Yeah, but still, he was the leader.
Yeah.
Who? What did he say?
Who?
Joshua was the leader after all.
Yeah.
Truth. Please, I'm sorry for going. I could not hear you. Truth. What did he say?
He said Joshua was the leader.
Okay.
He's correct. I was speaking about something.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I could not hear him at all. He said it really quick, and I'm like, what? Who was what?
Okay. It said Deuteronomy 18:15. And Jesus Christ said it in John. He said, Moses wrote about me. If you believe Moses, then you believe me, because Moses wrote about me. And that's in Deuteronomy 18:15.
Okay, read Deuteronomy 15.
Okay. Hold on. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your fellow Israelites. You must listen to him. For this is what you asked of the Lord your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, let us not hear the voice of the Lord and our God, nor see the great fire anymore, or we will die. This is Moses talking. And Jesus told the people, let me go back to what he said.
No, I know what you're talking about, but when I've read that, I never you might be right, but I never associated that with, because like I said, Jeremiah prophesied about Christ, Malachi.
Yeah, that's you're right about that. I didn't say that was wrong. You're right, but I'm just saying when you said the books, as far as what he got, if he got Deuteronomy, that's in Deuteronomy, because Jesus Christ said it in John 5.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, John 5. I know what you're talking about as far as that. I just never.
From what I know, nobody specifically.
But even what I mean by prophesy, the prophecy of the Messiah, that could be one thing. But we already know when we think about Deuteronomy, we think about the law. That's explaining, the 613 laws and stuff. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah,
Jeremiah is specifically talking about the that whole thing is prophesying about Christ.
Yeah, I got you on that.
Yeah, I'm saying the main books. The main book they took away.
Yeah. You probably. I don't know. You probably.
I'm trying to say to you something. You forgot also one thing. We had there is a difference in language in those books, so maybe something that you interpreted of being telling about your Jesus, then could be in another language, something entirely ours. Okay.
Yes, I like
Yeah,
that. My Jesus.
you said, but that's why I said when you said Hebrew, which Hebrew you talking about? Which you said biblical Hebrew? Which Hebrew? Are you talking about
Jesus.
traditional Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew? It's written in which Hebrew?
I'm talking about ancient Hebrew. Come on, I don't know which kind of Hebrew.
So it's different types of Hebrew, languages. They got different dialects. Which Hebrew are you talking about? You talking about traditional Hebrew?
Maybe
do you speak Hebrew? Golden, do you speak Hebrew?
Yes.
Which Hebrew you speak?
Yes, I said I speak Hebrew. I speak modern Hebrew.
Which one?
You hear me? I said I speak modern Hebrew.
Okay, which Hebrew do you speak?
I said I speak modern Hebrew. You hear me?
Modern.
He
said
said
modern Hebrew.
Modern Hebrew. Okay.
Oh, modern. Unless I'm saying it right.
Okay, you speak. So it's modern Hebrew. Then they have tradition. Then they have biblical. Then they have Paleo Hebrew. Do you speak Paleo Hebrew also or no?
I don't know exactly what is Paleo Hebrew, but I'm speaking modern Hebrew, and I can understand the ancient Hebrew in some degree. Well, everybody can.
Oh, okay.
Actually, in some degree. But again, bro, there's that's different. In one language, when you translate a book from one language to the other, some things change, some things, you get what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah, I got you.
Maybe you have, maybe according to your translation of the English, maybe in English it sounds like they're talking about Christ, but in other language you can get a different thing entirely.
Right.
Okay.
I got you. But that means when you said that truth was wrong, you couldn't say. Well, the reason why you said he was wrong when he was right, because you're going by the interpretation of.
I said it was his interpretation. Okay, I didn't say that anyone was right or wrong.
You talking about initially
his interpretation.
He talking about initially. You did say wrong initially, but he retracted it. He took it.
Right, I know. That's why I was.
That's the only reason why I went down there, because I'm like, okay, if you're going to say I'm wrong, now you gotta show me where I'm wrong, and you gotta prove it. And then if you do, then I will say I'm wrong. I have no reason. Just like Vaughn just did it. I said, okay.
If you want me to say that you're wrong, then to blame the Jewish people for killing Jesus, that is very wrong.
But you do not have no proof that you did not.
Right, and you don't believe in the New Testament. So how can you say that?
What do you mean?
Exactly.
I don't have proof that I did not. The Romans literally killed Jesus.
Where's your proof?
How
can't
you say that?
I gave you proof. Okay, if the Romans would kill him, they will. If the Jewish people would kill him, they would stone him or something, not crucify him.
No. See, you're giving me something that you're saying. I need written proof that those things did not happen.
Right.
That story event. The Romans crucified a lot of people. So to give in those times, they didn't document this event. Only a few decades after it, the Christians converts start to talk about
make
it in
sure
the Bible.
You save this, because I need this. I need this. I learned something today.
I save all these dreams.
I have not. I learned something today. Thank you, Lord. I learned something because I did not.
What did you learn?
I learned what exactly you're saying. You're telling me. Don't worry, I learned. I'm trying to say I learned a lot. I did not know this. I swear.
The Romans that the Bible was written 6 or 5 decades after the event.
No, the fact that the events that happened to somebody was not recorded.
He talked about in Roman. You talk about in Roman history, it wasn't recorded.
The Romans killed a lot of people in Judea in that time by crucifixion. So to record and the spots.
I'm sorry for going.
What I'm trying to say to you that that the event passed from mouth to mouth, okay, not through writing until 5 or 6 decades after it, okay?
Well, all right. Well, then we're going. We shouldn't listen to things in the Old Testament. Then, even in your book, a lot of things in that book was passed down from oral history, or from oral to oral.
Yeah, that's true.
So right. So that means we shouldn't listen to a lot of things in the Old Testament.
Yeah, if you don't want to listen to it, then whatever. I don't care.
We should not.
I'm not a religious person, so I don't care.
Right. So I mean that argument that you're making is not adding up. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
That's why I'm laughing. It's not making any sense.
Right. It's not adding up.
Well, because no. Hold on, let me say something. Because he said like that part wasn't written, right? And I'm like, so if they took, actually not even take it out, if it was never written in there, and they just replaced, just have the old everything from the Old Testament just to that, then they wouldn't understand the new part, like New Testament and things like that. That wouldn't make any sense to me. So that means that was it purposely done like that?
What? Look,
I'm talking about like in your book where you said, you read your part, and I'm not judging you, by the way. I'm trying to get some answers. I just want some answers.
Okay, so, then I'm trying to. Then I'm telling you, they wrote it down 5 or 6 decades after it happened. Okay, because they thought Jesus is going to come back very soon, so we just need to pass it from mouth to mouth.
Okay.
Now about the Old Testament, some the things like, for example, the Exodus from Egypt. That's definitely they passed it from mouth to mouth before they write it down. If you want to talk about how I say it, if you want to talk about specific stories that were written down in the same time that it happened, then you could we can talk about, for example, the occupation of Persia, of Israel. We can talk about that was written when it happened. Okay. In general, from scholars and historians and scholars claim that the Bible was written in the times of the split between the north country of Israel and the kingdom of Judea.
Yeah,
the north kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of Judea. And that in the time that happened, then was the Bible written down.
Yeah, that's what some scholars. Do you know? Jay, it's some Muslims. Muslims believe that Jesus wasn't crucified.
Yeah,
he didn't.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I had a couple Muslim friends. Yeah.
They believe he wasn't actually.
They believe, yeah,
right, crucified.
So that's not far fetched for me. I said that's not far fetched for me to believe that. Because they believe that.
Because the way it's even written in the way it's written even in the Quran.
Yep. And I'm reading the Quran now, so there's a lot of things that are like different.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing like the different shift.
Yeah.
That most people ain't seeing when it comes to Christianity, as opposed to reading the Quran. It's like a whole different mix.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially the 77 odd virgins and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, there is also the scholar text that you have for Christians and Jews and other people of the book. What do you think about that?
Yo, Vaughn, hold on, we'll go to. We'll answer that in a second, but hold on, I want to answer first case. So I take it that y'all don't believe in the Trinity either. Vaughn, you want to answer that?
Oh, she's talking to. I thought she was talking to the Golden. Oh, I believe in the Trinity. I believe in the Trinity.
Father. Oh, you're talking about like when it comes to Jesus, God.
Yeah, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. Well, hold on, Princess K, I'm former Christian, so I did believe that. So I don't know if I believe it again once I decided to take it up again. Like I said, who knows? I might follow the Quran or I might follow that. And the thing is, just for me, it's just because I am former Christian, so that's what I was taught. So So prior to my knowledge, now do I believe it now? That's my choice to believe that. But what I was taught on, yeah, it was those three things. The Trinity, yeah.
Yeah, I believe, but I also believe when the Muslims say it's only one true God, I also believe in that also. Yeah, I believe that. I believe in both.
I believe in myself.
Yeah, I believe in both. I believe in one true God, and I believe in the Trinity.
Yeah, now, like I said, there's different other
Okay.
ones. Polytheism is multiple, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, polytheism. Then they got monotheism.
Yeah. That's different. And I know more about it doesn't believe in the one true God, so they believe in kind of the multiple ones, which is fine. And then also you have the Catholic faith,
Right.
which is, Michael, Lucifer, that.
And,
Which I never hear I've never heard any Catholic person bring up Michael in my presence.
and they believe.
No one ever does it.
And some Muslims believe that the Holy Spirit that sits on that's the Holy Spirit that they're talking about is Gabriel, because Gabriel brought the revelation to
Brothers, yeah, one of the
Muhammad. So they believe that Holy Spirit is Gabriel. Some Muslims.
Gabriel.
Yeah, they believe Gabriel. When they say Holy Spirit, they talking about Gabriel.
Yeah, they call him Jibril.
Yeah, Jibril. Yeah.
Jibril. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If you just believe in yourself.
Yeah, but anyway, you didn't answer my question. There's in Islam you have a skull text for minorities. What do you think about that?
They have a what? What you said? They have a what?
They have jizya.
Oh, what's that? I don't think I'm aware of that. What's that?
Okay, jizya or skull tax if you want.
Uh-huh.
It's that you need to pay if you are not a Muslim in Muslim countries in medieval time,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of Muslims want to bring it back from those times. It's that you need to pay a specific you need to pay more money because you're not a Muslim, and you also need to wear a specific clothes that you will be able to be recognized as a non-Muslim. And of course, you will not be able to hold arms, to hold weapons and stuff. In other words, like the Jim Crow, the Jim Crow laws, in some degree.
I didn't know. So you said they get ready. They may bring that back in this day of time, or. But I didn't know that. But you said they're going to bring that back in this day of time.
They want to bring it back, and this maybe it sounds like from a long time ago, but you had in the 80s in Pakistan, you had it, or in Afghanistan, you had it on Buddhist those laws.
Oh yeah, they did.
They put it on Abrahamic religions, but still.
Yeah, I do remember that, and I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. What's that under Shira law? What's that called? Sharia law.
Yeah, that's under the rules of the Sharia.
Yeah, I do remember that. What did Princess K say, Jay?
She says, if you just believe in yourself, then the previous conversation is more than likely pointless, which I do agree with it. I do agree with her. And Princess K, shout out to you, sister. I will say this, Brother Von Erich, since before we end things, I want to get your take. You seen Joseph King of Dreams animated film, or have you read it?
Oh, I've read it. Okay,
brother.
I haven't seen the film.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about Joseph's journey, what his brothers did to him, and also, what do you think about him forgiving his brothers?
Oh, I love.
I did ask you all three, and then so take your time to answer each one.
No, I believe what Truth said. I believe that, and I thought it was phenomenal for him to forgive his brothers, even though after what they did. I love the story as far as how he started out when he went through, as far as when he was in the hole. And then when he went through in Egypt, how the Israelites took him within Egypt, how he was in jail and got out. How he didn't mess with his boss's wife. He
He
refused.
didn't. He actually strayed away from, which I ain't proud of him for that.
Right.
Like that time it still got him in trouble, which he really didn't do anything. He was
right. He didn't go in with her, which I don't know when he did that. And then how he rose to become the second in charge. I mean, he was in charge of everything. Now, I do suggest people read the story that's in the King James and the story that's in the Apocrypha, because the Apocrypha goes more into details, which is the Rastafarian Bible. That goes a little bit more, and so I suggest people read both versions because it goes a little more into deep details as far as like that. Because then he realized, he says, "Oh, now I know why I'm here. This was done by the power of God." Why he became a slave, and what his brothers did, and how he went into Egypt. So I suggest people read both versions. But yeah, I love the story. I like how he was being blessed, being second in charge, how everything was in his hand.
Yeah, it really paid off, like all that struggling and stuff.
Yeah, and then how Egypt,
the brothers trauma, from what they did to him was there. And like I said, and that's why I said we didn't like. I understand we didn't have therapists back in the day.
Right.
It was kind of like press on. But he has some things that keep him, I guess, quote unquote, happy.
Right.
His friendship, with the I forget his name, Portor. I think I forget his name. Hey guys, like I said, if I butcher up his name, please forgive me. His name is Egyptian, so it's hard to pronounce.
Right.
But the thing is, he had a good bond with that man. That man trusted him and realized his wife was a piece of shit.
Right.
Now.
Right.
She was.
Right.
Had a nice niece though, and he did marry that niece, so I'll give him that.
Right.
Hey man, he, like I said, so I think he found happiness within his own family that he created.
Right.
And the bond of that person he was with, and of course Pharaoh. Yes. I'm not saying Pharaoh was his friend, but more so Pharaoh understood, like, you proved to me that you could do this, and you said what you said to do. I made the right choice.
Right.
And you saved all the civilization for it now.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, it was going to be wiped out.
Right.
And I think when the animated film showed, like, you can vaguely see, like, he has him when he's dreaming, but also he can because of those dreams, he's able to pick things out now.
Right. Right.
Look at what his father was teaching him, and then he was able to understand the meaning of what it means.
Exactly.
And it's like, God can translate this for me. Now I can translate this for Pharaoh. So
exactly. Right.
Is what it is. That's the way he was able to do it.
Right.
And I said that. So you think it took? I would say this. Like I said, there's a lot of lessons in this movie, and also in the book, the book itself. And I think I'm gonna ask you this question because I've asked for good, I've asked the truth. Do you think you could ever find it in your heart, if that ever happened to you, to forgive them after 20 years? Remember, because they said 20 years we've lived with that guilt, doing that to them. That's why I like the animated film where like they actually hold themselves accountable for that. Because the new brother, Benjamin, their other brother, at least in the animated film, guys, I'm going about an animated film, where he's younger than everyone, but he says like, we can't leave without this boy. Like, take one of us. If we're gonna take somebody, take one of us. Because it's like, and then they confess and come clean and says like, our brother wasn't killed or eaten by wolves. Our spiteful jealousy, we sold him out of slavery, and it destroyed our father. That's what it says. It really destroyed him, and we saw what it did. And he said, for 20 years we've lived with that guilt. And he said, we can't live without the boy. We just can't. And he says, anybody should be punished, it should be us. And it's like that's them being accountable right there. Which honestly, I'm saying I'm glad, but it should eat you up inside. You did something fucked up.
Oh, you talking about Joseph and Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph's brothers. Like I said, where it's like it should eat you up inside. You did something effed up.
Right.
Whether you was spoiled or not does not matter. You did that was wrong to do on many levels. Yeah, let this be something in real life. Oh, but by all means, he's probably killing those people. Maybe not. If worse, and listen, if he dumbed it down, then they're locking him up for life. or something like that. Had he be a rational person of today, with someone's rational thought today, yeah, most likely dead or deleted or quote unquote imprisonment until when I say so.
If due to the heart which God blessed me with, yes, I would have forgave my brothers because I know that I would be looking
I'm not
at.
gonna kill him. No, I'm not gonna kill him. But
Huh?
no. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that after me. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna kill them. No.
Right.
Oh no. Let it be my chance. Listen, I'm not gonna give you. You're getting your last one by me first. All 12 of you.
But
After that, then I forgive you.
Right, but I understand. But I'm just saying that. Matter of fact, even Truth was talking about foreshadow. We can even go, because that's a good point that he made. We can even go to the beginning when Cain and Abel. Cain killed his brother. Killed his brother.
Bro.
But God saved.
That's more archaic. But
God saved Cain, and he also saved Joseph.
Right.
And he blessed Joseph. I mean, look where Joseph was at. He was 10 times prospered than his brothers.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
10 times more, 100 times.
Yeah, 100 times more. Yeah, that's true. And
I agree with
he actually, then he turns around and ends up saving his family, his brother.
He saves his family, because that's why I said what you said. Because in my summary, I went over it. We said, I won't hurt any of you.
Right.
Or our father.
Right. So I
thought because I'm your brother Joseph, and then it's a real emotional scene where it's just like, you ever forgive us because we really fucked up and we really hurt you and our father, and we should not have ever done that. Our jealousy turned us to really ugly people.
Right.
That's
like Cain.
Like if you actually show me compassion and actually all that, then maybe I could slightly forgive you. But I still gotta punch you one time. I forgive you.
Right, I got you.
It's tough love, but it's the way I'm gonna do things, and I'm like,
I got you. I understand.
You're forgiven. It's gonna take some time, but you're forgiven.
Right, I got you. You still have to. You still got a consequence.
You didn't.
Still got a consequences you got to deal with.
My consequences, you have to deal with, like the consequence of how I treat the relationship and things like that. Now, granted, in a real life take, to be like, these people are terrible.
Right.
I'll confront what I have to confront, then I'll leave them to their own devices and live my own life. That's technically the healthiest way of getting through stuff. That's what a therapist would tell you to do. But he's not wrong. You should confront it and knock it out yourself. And have somebody do it for you. And like I said, I'm just giving my thought of what I would do. I think it was done that way emotionally, just to make us not want to hate the brothers even more. Like, I hate them, but the thing is, I've said like this was a factor of isolating the younger brother from the older brothers, treating them different treatment, definitely, and neglecting his other sons. Because like Joseph really wanted to be with like his brothers, he wanted to play with his brothers, be accepted by them and things like that. Like that's really all he really wanted. I think if this whole story would have turned out entirely differently, had they just accepted him, or no, Jacob, not his father Jacob, raised him differently. I would say like treat him the same way. You teach him all the extra stuff, but the thing is, make him not separated from his brothers.
Oh, okay.
Because I think
you said wait a minute. You said he treated who differently?
Joseph.
Oh, treated who differently?
Jacob did.
Jacob treated Joseph. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the movie how it's portrayed, he's like, he's like, your future is different from theirs.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to work or like what they do or thing like that. And the thing is, he wanted to work. He wanted to do what his brothers did because he wanted to be accepted because they were family.
Oh, okay.
And I got that. The very beginning of the 15, 20 minutes we get with that, like, dude, like I already saw a problem with Jacob. Was like, yeah, that's not right, dude. But I understand the story in the Bible. What needs to happen. I get all that. Same with Moses. I get that. I get it all. Most stories are my favorites, but even then, it's still tragic and sad. This, at least what the animated film had showed me, it was more a story about perseverance and forgiveness, and also within the jail that he was in, he grew a plan. So he spent his time really taking care of the planet, decorating it, giving it a life. And when the guy came in, you know, who quote unquote, that locked him in there, he saw what he did. He was like, "There's no way this man could have done what he did if he did this in here."
But you know what? I think did they show in the movie about the prayer that did they show that when Jacob prayed over Joseph's sons? Did they show that in the movie?
Prayed over? I don't think they showed that scene, because I remember in the beginning it's more so he sings and tells him you're a miracle child, and he leads his son Joseph to believe that, which he technically he is, because he is a miracle, because he is a prophet of the Lord technically.
Yeah, but Joseph ended up had the same mentality as Jacob, because when Jacob was praying over his sons to bless them, he put his hand on the younger son. Joseph took his hand and put it on the older son.
Okay. Yeah, the older son, like in the movie, guys, like I said, correct me wrong, because like I said, it can be very different from the Bible, because I haven't read it for long. But the oldest brother in there was like Judah. I believe it was Judah. Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about Jacob's. I'm talking about Joseph's two sons.
Oh, okay.
Joseph's two sons. Joseph had two sons.
Oh, you talking about Joseph's sons? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Joseph's sons. That's why. When they,
that you meant Jacob. I'm sorry.
No, Joseph had two sons, and Jacob, when they moved into Egypt, he was in Egypt for a while, and he prayed over Joseph's two sons, and he put his hand on one son. It was the youngest son, but Jacob took his hand and put it on the oldest. Say, no, this is him.
Oh, no. I mean, this is the last scene where he finally meets his grandkids. And
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No. I don't think it was more of a prayer, but he held one each up, and I don't know if he put his hands together last second, but I didn't see that. I think he held each one of them. Yeah, I think he had the oldest one up on his right arm.
Right.
He's one of his sons. Yeah, it's the oldest son. And he has the younger son right here. I don't know if about symbolism to say like he's blessing both of them, but I think it's more so him accepting them as family and what roles they have to do.
Oh, did he pray? Did he pray over?
I don't think they prayed. No, I didn't see that.
Okay.
I think they skipped that or marked it not. They could have showed a scene of that if they were going to do that, but it was just mostly, him meeting Joseph reunited with his father and his whole family after a long time. He hugs him, talks to him, tells him, I got so much to tell you. And like, this is your family, this is your daughter-in-law, the woman I married, all this. And they pretty much walk into Egypt, more than not. Him and his family, and they integrate within Egypt at that point.
I got you.
And I think it ends pretty much like there, like them as family. And I think it's pretty much on the family side.
What was this on? This movie?
No, it's on YouTube. YouTube. It was on Joseph King of Dreams. Like literally, you can watch it on there. You can rent it. I rented it. Now we watched it again.
Oh, okay.
But go to you dropped off. I was gonna let you back on. But guys, I'm gonna end it here. I expected to go this long because we had the whole thing of like, Vagoda telling us such and such about what was going on. So Vagoda, thanks for showing up. Truth, thank you for showing up. Eric, if you want to talk in the back, I'm willing to talk to you. I just don't want this bitch go to 2 hours. And also to everybody in the chat, thank you for staying and not leaving all the time. I appreciate it, guys. So tomorrow, before I end it, guys, tomorrow, hopefully I'm gonna get in touch with Wally because we need to get this shit done. In case things change, like I said, and that's what I said. 2 things where I'll be happening tomorrow. So one, Wally stream. Like I said, hopefully Wally. Are you going to sleep now? It's pretty late now, so I'm going to go to sleep. Good night. Yeah, get a good night. God, I'm getting tongue-tied. Get a good night's sleep, Vagoda. What the fuck is wrong with my throat today? Thanks, Jill. Yo, I've never laughed so much in my life in a while. That's a lie too. I've laughed so much a lot, but it's been a while since I've laughed like that in a while. And the thing is, respect to my man Vagoda, respect to Truth, respect to Mount Eric. But like I said, tomorrow will be Wally's stream. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about Kamen Rider, Dragonite, and also me and him are gonna Captain America, Iron Man, that shit is what we're gonna do. And we're really gonna talk about the characters, the story, and pretty much the actors. Yeah. And just be on the lookout for that. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully Wally shows up the way he's supposed to, and we can get this shit started. Yeah, I am calling out Wally when I say that, but at the same time, brother, like I need to, someone can hold you accountable, hold me accountable. But it'll be at 8:30, sometime there, or 9, somewhere 8:30 to 9, somewhere around there. We're gonna get started that day. And also Friday, I won't keep any promises, but there's supposed to be a Kingdom Hearts stream this coming Friday with my man Slick Ryuga and me. And that's a long stream. Shit, that's a lot of shit to talk about that. All in all, Juan Eric, I do want to talk to you backstage real quick. About something because I want to set something up. But all in all, guys, thank you. Like I said, thank you for tuning into the stream. Thanks for tuning into the discussion, and also thanks for tuning in to the sidetrack conversation we had earlier. But also, we needed confirmation on things. It's just better to be a fuller person when you know more information and things prior to what that person knows probably what you don't know. So it's always good to do that. I'm glad we didn't get stupid either. I appreciate it. But all in all, y'all have a great night. And this has been Jay Takashi. Glory days, peaceful nights, and be sure to have a cup of tea before you go to sleep. That shit always soothes the soul. It really does. Can't lie about that. All in all, peace out, y'all.